Alright, so today we're going to go ahead and show you how to optimize your site by using the tools provided in the search engine optimization section. So first things first, we're going to want to go ahead and log into our administrator area. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over to the marketing section. In the marketing section, you see you have tons of tools here. All kinds of stuff going on. Last time we went over social sharing. We went over promotions and promo codes. This time we're going to go to search engine optimization. From the search engine optimization link, it takes you to the related page. As you can see here, ours is still pretty much exactly how it was, meaning blank. So let's just go through each field. First and foremost, this is the most important section here. This is the primary SEO settings for your page as a whole. So for us, we're going to actually replace site title with Pinnacle Cart. And this is just for our cart, so in that field you actually want to input what you would like to see display up on the tab that you're currently using on your internet browser, meaning what displays across the top part of your screen. So we've inputted Pinnacle Cart for ours because that's what we wanted to say. Next you're going to do a real small and to the point meta description. My recommendation here is usually keep it 120 characters or less. That way you have a better chance of populating in search. So here we're going to keep it real simple and to the point. This is a test sample of how to enable proper SEO settings for your cart. And just by default, anytime I change a field, I always like to click save just in case I lose my browser page or anything like that. The information that you've touched on so far is in place. You saw that was successful. So now we're going to go ahead and move down to the next area. So we always want to have this enabled. Enable search engine friendly URLs. That means the URLs provided that auto-populate in the cart actually get shortened down and flattened out so that the metadata crawler spiders all can pick up on your store's settings a lot faster than if you had an elongated URL. So we always keep that one enabled. This one, I primarily don't use this one too much, but it is a good one, good tool to have in place. Use lowercase letters in your URLs. So that being said, I mean, without that button enabled, you have the ability to have capitals and lowercase letters in your URLs. That's the main reason why I don't use it, because a lot of my URLs that are generated by my cart are based off of the category names, which you can see have uppercase letters, and page names, manufacturers, so on and so forth, and your products may have capital letters in them as well. So I usually don't enable that because of that auto generation down here. But to ensure that the meta titles and descriptions are going to auto populate and generate for you based on the product, category, and page information that you input on the other end of your store, you would want to enable that radio toggle there. And like I said, every time we hit a section, just click save. And we're going to just go scroll down here. So this is basically your standardized templates of how the cart auto-populates your URL structure for said page that you may be on. You can always get more information on these sections by simply just hovering over these, and it shows you how the variables are placed. So basically how it goes is category name, onto page number. If you have manufacturers involved, it would incorporate their name and SKU, and then that page number. But typically this is how the output goes. So it would go your domain, / the category / the product name, which would then in turn lead you to the actual product page itself. So as you can see, this is already in there, and it auto-populates using our systems that are already in place. So we don't really have to worry about that too much unless you're into customizing your URLs, which isn't really recommended because then you have to constantly go back and update those customized URLs as your categories and products change. So I highly recommend just keeping it on auto-generate. That way it's just easier moving forward. So Htaccess Overrides is actually a pretty in-depth section. So what we've done in this knowledge base article is we've actually provided a link that gives you more information on Htaccess, the bits of code that you can enter in there. So you could allow and deny certain IP addresses, certain websites. You could tell them, certain websites can't get me at this times. You block IP addresses, so on and so forth. So you can find all of that information by clicking that link that we provided in this knowledge base article. So I'll flip back over to Pinnacle Cart. The next section I want to show you is actually the robots.txt section. So basically this is the section where you specifically can depict which things you would like to allow and deny to read the meta information for your store. So say you're on a plan where you have a limited amount of disk space or traffic usage, and you go into your resource monitor and you notice that, say, the MSN bot or the Yahoo bot or the Google bot are constantly crawling your page, taking up all of your traffic resources. So in here, you would simply want to disallow MSN bots. And for more information on that, you can always click on the link provided in this knowledge base article outside of this video for information on how to format what goes into your robots.txt file. So let's move down a bit. And as you can see, it starts listing off each individual page that you have already associated in your cart. And it does this for a very specific reason. Even though we enabled the auto generation above, we still want to go through each one of these sections and give it a title and a description, just like we did up here, except down here these ones are specific to this page that we're looking at. So when people go to your search page, you want to give it a title to display up at the top on the tab for the browser. So for my search page, I usually like to just type search our store. Real simple, real basic, no worries, no hassles. In here, this page is customer centric and is solely used for searching our store's catalog and products associated. So I got my point across very directly, maintaining that 120 characters or less rule of thumb. So, like I said, click save anytime you make a change, just to ensure you don't lose any data along the way, say if your computer crashes or anything like that. So we've already done the search page. So then we're going to go on to another one. This will be the Testimonials page. So say you've been in business for a little while, you end up coming over to Pinnacle Cart, or you've been in business with Pinnacle Cart for quite some time, and you actually have various amounts of feedback coming from your customers or your buyers, or even your manufacturers, your wholesalers, whoever that may be. So this is going to be the page where all of that information is going to be displayed upon your entry. So you're definitely going to want to put some information in here as far as meta information. So here it's going to be testimonials from our users. And in here, same thing as we did above, just be direct to the point, maintaining less than 120 characters, and you should be good to go on that section. So I'm just going to type in real quick here. This area allows our potential customers to review feedback from our current / previous customers. Short and to the point, following the 120 character or less rule, no worries. Click Save. And then you would just do that same exact process for each and every page. And I say every with emphasis for a reason, because if these are left blank, nothing will display at the top of the browser. And when I say top of the browser, I don't mean in the address bar. I mean the actual name on the tab. So you'll see the only one that I'm not able to open up would be international, because I don't have my cart set to sell international. So that'd be the only one I wouldn't be able to make any modifications to unless I went over into my language file and allowed international by adding additional countries. So this is honestly, the password reset page is one of the most visited for registered users. So this would be one to definitely include, as well as the cart page. This is their actual checkout page meta information. So what I'd like to do on this one is put the name of your store, Pinnacle Cart Checkout. Nice and simple, and it will display perfectly at the top of your browser. And just do the same bit of information in here as far as the meta description. Say something along the lines of, this page is primarily for our customers to help them through their checkout process. Nice and easy. The other two clutch ones here would be the subscribe and unsubscribe. Those are going to be the ones that your users visit your page and they wanted to subscribe to your newsletter or create an account with you. This is where it's going to be pulling up with this information here. So you want to be as user friendly as possible in these sections here. So my subscribe page on mine, I usually like to type, welcome to the club, exclamation. Because you want to make it a very user-friendly environment. That way, you know, it in turn lowers your bounce rate if you're viewing your analytics. Because you know you're engaging your customers, you're providing warm and happy information to them for your pages, thus gaining their trust and interest at the same time. Keeping them engaged on your page is a very, very important thing to have in place, because if you just have a great looking page with no search engine optimization set up properly or none at all, 9 out of 10 times they're going to visit your page and then they're going to leave because it will look incomplete. So we've went through those. The only other one that you really should give a great meta description and page title to would be the gift certificate one, because A, it's going to show up on the tab, obviously with the title, and then the description is going to be able to help the buyer actually be interested in either purchasing a gift certificate or gifting one to someone else. So once you have all of those fields filled out exactly how you want them, same as we did before, we're going to click that green Save button. After that, I usually like to click the button right next to it, and that's Regenerate URLs. Now primarily you only need to click this button if you're toggling in between this feature here, on and off, the lowercase and allowing uppercase. but I usually like to run through all the cycles of the cart just to ensure. This also will pick up on any duplicate URLs you may have and resolve those errors before the site's live. That way none of your customers get a 404 error page. So we're just going to confirm that. And see, there was a duplicate URL to process and the cart automatically fixed it for you. The next section here is to regenerate the Htaccess file. This is what I was speaking of here. And this would only really be necessary as if you made some major changes either to your database side of things, or if you have added overrides or disallows, anything like that, or any HT commands period, using that link reference that we showed you in the knowledge base article itself. But I still, even if I've made no changes, I like to generate this regardless, because this also will tell you success, and if there were any issues, those would display here, and then you would be able to go and be able to fix those issues because you know they exist. So just to recap on that, I'm just going to click this to get everything back set. So as you can see, we left the auto population generation in place for all of the fields. What we put in earlier is still there. The ones I didn't fill out aren't there because I was just showing you examples. On the 404, that's the page not found, meaning 404. This one I did neglect to say. You should really put in something very warm and happy here, because no user experience is a pleasant user experience if they do indeed receive a 404 page not found. So I usually put in here, oops, it looks like this page may have moved. That way they know there's not an error with your site, they're not having an issue with their computer or their browser, and they know that it possibly may have just changed locations. And why I say locations is because if you've changed, like say, the product name or the category name, those regeneration fields up here have applied new URLs. So still, in my advice, I would keep these auto-populating and just make sure, you know, that this area here just lets the customer know that the page has actually just moved, or if it's a product that you no longer carry and the URL somehow is still in place, you would type that information here into the description field. So since we did input there, we'll go ahead and save that. The next bit of search engine optimization itself I would like to show you is a little bit outside of this section. So what I'd like to do is have you go up to products, and let's go real quickly to the preview our site option by clicking on the eye to see what products we do currently have on the home page. So I have set showing 3. So we go back over here to the admin area, one of those 3 being a Sweet Life. So we're going to click into that actual product, and as you can see, there's also search engine optimization settings on this level. As you can see, we've changed this product in the past from Digital Book Test to how we have it now as a Sweet Life. So we definitely want to update this to match so that it doesn't look confusing to the user. So we're going to go Sweet Life. And we'll do the same down here by simply copy and paste. And if you had additional information, you obviously could add it on there as well. Just keep in mind, keep it less than 120 characters. Now after you updated that, you would simply click Save. And just to make sure it's stuck, yep, you see our changes are there. The URL is still in place. That guarantees that when they do visit the page, they see the meta information that you just depicted here up on the tab as far as the title, and this page will not create a page not found 404 error, because you can see here the URL does still exist. So you can do that on the product level like we just did. You can do that as a whole from the marketing section like we did originally. Now let me show you something on the category level. So one of our categories is accessories, and that's pretty much our primary category in this test cart for this video. So we're going to go into that one itself. And this one I forgot to change, so we will just go ahead and change this to match the category title, but without spaces, just as the bubble tip recommends. So since I did change that, I'm going to click Save. And this is the accessories category that we're still in. As you can see, it's a top level category, but what we want to do is actually go down to where it says Search Engine Optimization, just like on the product level. Now as you can see, since we left the auto generation URL feature enabled, it automatically populated the accessory URL. So just because you see it as accessories / doesn't mean that it's just that. So basically it would be your domain name / accessories / and then whatever product you click into under the accessories category. But as you can see, I still didn't have any meta information in here, so we want to definitely input that information here. So we're going to give it a meta title. This is what's going to show up on the tab on the top of the browser, just like we spoke of earlier. So we'll do accessories. Oops. And then in the meta description, we're simply going to put this, oops, is the accessories section. Please feel free to browse. Man, I don't know what's my keyboard. Browse our products. Nice and simple, nice to the point. Naming the accessories section and then prompting them to move forward. So, like before, we're going to save. And on this one, I'm going to go ahead and update the image while I'm here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that image, because it's not going to be applicable any longer because we changed this category from what it was to what it is now. And I'm going to pull that image back up, which is on my desktop if I remember. And we'll go ahead and put, let's see, which one haven't we used? We'll put Pete back up there. So, now we're going to go ahead and click Save since we've made our changes. So we've seen how to do it from the marketing area. We've seen how to do it on the product level. And we've also seen how to do it on the category level. Now, just to kind of see what we've been doing, let's go ahead and just view on Storefront. Now you can see under my accessories category, I now have that updated image. And up at the top of the tab, which isn't viewable in this video, it literally says accessories. So that is very nice. And underneath that image that we just created up there, you can browse through the products. But I do believe that we added the search engine optimization settings and setup to a Sweet Life. As you can see, you hover over and it comes up with a Sweet Life. Now let's click into it. And not, once again, not viewable in the video, but up at the top of my browser up here, right next to the Pinnacle Cart favicon, it says a Sweet Life, just like we inputted from the other section. So, the intention of search engine optimization is very literal. So, by placing that info in there, that is the information that goes over to search once submitted to those search engines. So basically, if you were to be finished with this site and you went over to your Webmaster Tools account on either MSN or Google, whoever you hold that with, you submit your site, you wait about 3 to 4 days, you go back over to search on Google or MSN, either or even Yahoo, and you search for the name of your store or any related product that we've just updated. When those search results come up, it will list the name of your site, a small meta description, the name of that product, and then of course it will give users a link directly to that site, which would then take them to your store or to your product, whichever one comes up in search. That's the reason why these settings are so important. So by leaving them blank, you're not only kind of holding your store back from being visible and being present to a larger crowd online, but you're also making it a little incomplete. So those tips and tricks as far as SEO settings should get you up and going. There's also more to come on search engine optimization, where we're going to touch on some more in-depth fields. But this should get you going because we've already covered social in my last video, and we've covered search engine optimization today. Next one, we're going to get into the Google Tools section. So let's just take a quick peek at that. Now, given you would need to have these accounts already all set up, but you would definitely want to have this set up and enabled before you do submit your site to any search engine, because the information as far as tracking IDs for your analytics account or your AdWords are in direct correlation with the accounts you have with Google. They provide you with a tracking ID that gets placed into a field here. As you can see, your tracking ID would go here. So we gave you the rest of the code already here for you. They will provide you with this ID, and you would simply replace these X's with the ID number that they give you. This information goes into the head section of your page. And by head section, I don't mean your header, I mean the meta head section. So what loads before your actual page loads. So this information is very important to have in place, but only enable it after you get your IDs to put in there. And it's going to be the same for both. As you can see, it just leaves X's there for you awaiting your ID. So once you get those in there, you would save it, and then you had some options on the AdWords as well. If you do have an AdWords account, it's pretty much the same thing. You're going to be replacing anything with an X with the IDs they provide with you. This is going to be your conversion value, your conversion ID, so on and so forth. But like I said, definitely have those accounts in place before you change any of this information or enable it. Once you have all of that done, you definitely want to generate a sitemap, because part of the Webmaster Tools accounts on either side, doesn't matter what search engine you're registering with, they will require a sitemap to analyze to make sure your page is legitimate. So after all these settings are in place, after you've done your engine optimization, and you've also done it on the product and category level itself, all these are done, generate your sitemap. It'll initiate an XML page download, which you then can actually upload into your Webmaster Tools account to include with your search engine submission. Typically, when you submit your search or your site to index, meaning search engine, you can start seeing your stuff to populate in around a week. It's typically about a week and a half, depending on the integrity of your page and the completeness of your page. That's why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on getting all of the internal tools taken care of first within Pinnacle Cart before you start using any external submission tools. Because keep in mind, you can only submit a set amount of times a year. It's usually once a quarter, and you don't want to submit your site tons of times because you actually start developing a score you don't want. So you want to make sure it's complete the first time. That way you only have to do it one time. That way your information starts populating as soon as possible. So that about wraps it up for the search engine optimization today. I'll touch base on some deeper in-depth articles on as far as like promotions, so on and so forth, the Htaccess Overrides, robots files. We'll touch on those on another video, but today that about wraps it up. But stay tuned because there will be more to come.